Welcome to Dada's. It's 4 p.m. and if you're on KBC Channel 1, this is your program. Now, today we want to talk about the ever-increasing, ever-challenging subject of women and beauty. The average woman spends at least 8 minutes every day, minimum, looking at herself in the mirror. And according to statistics, as much as $10 on her face, her lips, and her hair, averagely, for most of her life, every single day. I want to begin a conversation with one very beautiful Judy.
Thank you.
Hi, Judy.
Hi.
And I want us to talk a bit about beauty with you.
Yeah.
The reason this conversation is interesting for me is because you didn't start out to be your typical model.
No.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you grow up? And what were your perceptions about yourself?
My name's Judith Humbo. Again, I'm a 32-year-old teacher. And growing up, I was a chubby child. I was chubby from when I was very young. And perception of beauty was not exactly chubby. Perception of beauty was small, slender, tall, like what we'd see in magazines and on television. So growing up, I knew I would not be a beauty queen by all means. And I struggled also being a chubby girl. I would have kids laugh at me. School was difficult. Primary was difficult, where kids would call you bambula and, such words. But along the way, I realized I had to love myself just the way I am. And I was not going to love somebody else before I love myself.
Okay.
And so I was challenged to embrace myself. And that's where my journey began.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you've jumped. When you say I was challenged to love myself, those are nice words, but the reality of being challenged to love yourself is such a big reality. I want to go back to, let me tell you, me, I feel you completely, because as I had shared before, I was always the fat girl.
Yeah.
So I never played sports. When it was time to play sports, I kind of never got into that. I stayed away from, I didn't have very many friends in school because I didn't want to be teased a lot. Yes. But I figured out that if I couldn't beat them in sports, I was going to beat them in class. Did you have your go-to thing that you did because you weren't the pretty girl?
I would not say I was not the pretty girl. I was pretty, but I was fat.
Yes.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
So there was that, and people would automatically not see my prettiness, but would see how fat I am. My go-to thing was, I'm a creative. So you'd find I would draw a lot, paint a lot, just do a lot of creative stuff. So that is where I hid myself in. I remember once in school, I did a painting in primary. I did a painting, and it was showcased on a wall in the auditorium. In a hall, it was not an auditorium, in the hall. Mm-hmm. And the people who came to look at the paintings stopped at my painting and wanted to know who did this painting. I was in class 7. I was in a boarding school. So they called me out, told Judy, there's someone interested in your painting and they'd like to meet you. I could tell from the guy's face that they were actually disappointed that it was me. I looked a certain way. And I was not so big in primary, but I was bigger than the other kids. Yeah? I was actually quite small, but I was bigger than the other kids. I could see the disappointment on his face, like my painting was not matching me, my name. So the struggle started then. But I hid myself in creativity, in arts, which I have nurtured over time, and I thrive in, and I thank God for that. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge throughout most of my life.
I'm surprised you say primary was hardest for you, because I thought secondary was the hardest. And then college was disaster, because in secondary, everybody was budding, and the boys came into the picture, and because you weren't quite sure about, because you were so used to, and I'm talking here on my own behalf, because I wasn't sure what the story with the boys would be. It seemed in secondary school, the pretty girls, when you went out on an outing, they were immediately identified, and then the fatty bambulas were always left sitting on the side when it was time for dancing. Yeah. But when I got to college, that is when it really hit me that I was fat. I don't know what your experiences were. For me, primary was bad. Secondary was badder. But campus was baddest.
Yeah. I get you. I mean, I see where you're coming from. Primary wasn't as bad as secondary. So what I quoted was an incident in primary school. Secondary school dating for me was a no-no. I mean, no one was literally interested in me. What would happen? We'd exchange letters with, say, someone I met through a friend on a letter, like, you know, one of those things, but we'd not meet like this. So we'd have conversations on letters, but we haven't met. So come funkies, we used to call them funkies.
I know, come funkies.
Come funkies,
That's
and we
when
have
the
to
funk
meet. Then now, shit hits the fan. Is this the Judy? No.
Ooh.
So what I'd do in high school, I'd actually help my friends write letters to their boyfriends because I was very good in writing. Like I said, I'm a creative. I was very good in writing. I'd help them put, like, during holidays, I'd help them put out outfits together because I'm also into fashion. So I was that girl behind the curtains at the backstage.
Yes.
Yeah, help them write letters, dress them up to look good for their dates, but I would hardly go for dates. In fact, my best friend, who happened to live next door to where we used to live, would have boys lining up at the door for dates, and I'd just stare, and no one was at my door. Yeah, because I was that girl, the plus-size woman.
I know, the plus-size woman.
And I think also growing up, my mom was, I came from a very conservative home and a Christian home, so the kind of things girls and boys used to put on at that time, I was not allowed to put on. You know, the tumbo cuts, the tight jeans, no. I would put on skirts, and so I was a laughing stock among my peers. Yeah, and it sort of damaged my self-esteem, but along the way,
Okay.
I
When did
picked
you have
myself
your
up.
aha moment? When did you come to the point where you looked in the mirror? Because even me, I had it, but very late in life. But did you ever, when did you wake up and think, you know what, whatever? You know that moment where you go like, whatever.
Yeah.
This is me, I'm going to have to be comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I do. When I was in college, I got tired of being teased. It would put me down, but I'd not let the world know. My parents didn't know. My family didn't know. My friends didn't know. I put on a brave face, but I was hurting on the inside. So what I did, I picked up my fashion sense, and I ran with it. In terms of, I said, I will wear what I want to wear. As long as I'm comfortable and happy, that's all that matters. So it started from there, from my fashion sense, on how I dress. That ended up making me feel better about myself. Yeah? And the minute the world sees that you carry yourself with confidence, you appreciate yourself, then they look at you in that way. So I literally forced them to appreciate me just the way I am.
Isn't that funny that when you look down on yourself, the world looks down on you anyway?
It's interesting.
And the day when you wake up and you say, you know what, I don't care about what all of you think about me. I am here, I'm going to do my thing. Then suddenly they wake up and they start thinking, she's not so bad after all.
It shows.
It shows.
It shows.
Okay.
I mean, when you're not feeling yourself, I can tell when somebody is not feeling themselves.
Okay.
But I can also feel when somebody is confident about how they look, irregardless.
Okay.
From the way you speak, from the way you walk, from the way you dress, I can tell. And that is a decision that I made personally to myself, that I needed to feel better from inside for people to actually appreciate who I am.
Okay.
And again, I'm unique to myself. And you don't have to like me for who I am. Yeah? No one is forcing you to. So if you don't, that's fine. But I do appreciate myself the way I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you began to think about being beautiful. You know how you move the scale from just getting by to now you're moving the scale to being beautiful. How did that even begin? How did the pendulum swing to you know, I can barely stand myself to I am going to be myself, and then I am beautiful, look at me.
Yeah.
How did that begin?
So after college, of course, like I said, I'm a teacher. So I started teaching about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I got my first job at Kavina, and I am still there today. It's Kavina School, yeah? And I remember my first experience in class. You know, the children just appreciate you just the way you are, yeah? So I'd come to school dressed in very colorful colors.
Like the way you're looking now.
Yes, I'm a very colorful girl. And the children would appreciate that very, very much. Like, Miss Judy, I love your jacket. Miss Judy, I love your hair. I love your shoes. Small things like that. And I started picking up from there. And I realized these are the most important people to me. These are the people that I am with from Monday to Friday, sometimes to Saturday. Yeah? So if anything, these are the people I should be pleasing the most. And together, I will say together because it was a working effort, together they actually build my confidence to a totally different level.
Yay.
Yeah, I think that for me was the pick-up point, and it grew from there. From those little beans to just, yeah.
How did you hear about Miss World Plus Size?
Miss Kenya Plus World.
Miss what?
Miss Kenya Plus World.
Oh, Miss Kenya Plus World.
Yes.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, it used to confuse me as well.
Really?
Yes, until I got it right.
So how did you hear about that? How did you even enter? Or did somebody enter for you? Because sometimes that happens. Did you see it? What happened? How did you?
So I follow Naomi Nganga on Instagram. I happen to admire, she's also a plus size woman. I happen to admire her very much. And I saw on her feed that she was advertising for plus size women to come and audition for Miss Kenya Plus World. And there was the audition and there was volunteering. And I reached out to her because it was during the April holiday. I was on holiday. I reached out to her. I sent a DM to Team Kavi. That's the management company.
Oh, Team Kavi.
Team Kavi, yes. And I told them that I'd want to volunteer. And they said, why not? So come on this and this date, and what would you like to do? I said, well, just put up stuff, decorate the judging
be in the
room.
Back, where you're used to.
Exactly, where I'm just used to, and put in my creativity. And they said, oh, well, yeah, come on this day. So I went, I did my thing. But while I was doing my thing, one of the ladies there asked me, and why aren't you auditioning? I said, first, I think I'll be working. Then she looked at the date. She said, you'll be on summer, right? You're a teacher, right? No, you won't be working. And we'll do these auditions over the weekend. And the finals will be done sometime in July on a weekend as well. So that's not an excuse. In short, I found so many excuses not to audition. But she told me, no, I think you do perfectly well. And right now, you're going to fill in the online form and submit it. So relentlessly, I did and forgot about it. Then the day of audition came, which was, they had 3 days of audition. That would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on the Friday, I was traveling to Kisumu, I remember. And I was 50-50. I was like, should I go? Should I? I said, anyway. And I had a morning flight. So I made sure I went for the audition first. I was actually among the first contestants. Auditioned. I felt it went pretty well, but I soon forgot about it as soon as I left there. And I went on with my life. On a random day, about 2 weeks later, I was in the salon. I got a message from Team Kavi telling me that I've qualified to be on the shortlist. I've qualified to be among the top 30. Just like that. Then I now took it seriously. I'll be very honest. Now I looked at it and I thought, wow, God has actually given me a chance to do something about things that I am very opinionated about, especially being a plus-size woman. And so, yeah, I embraced the opportunity and I ran with it.
Okay.
That's how it began.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the experience like? What was it like to be first of all, I was telling you on the phone yesterday that my thought of ever being on a beauty pageant, I would never even dream of it. I'd never fill in a form for it. I would never. What does the back end look like? What do they do at the back before they come at the front and strut? Wow. What happens behind the scenes?
Tell you what, it's an experience and a half. It's a journey that is very holistic. It's all rounded. It's just not about strutting and walking on the runway. For me, the journey was overwhelming first.
Okay. What did you do? Did you go on a course? What
yes.
did they teach
so
you?
First, after the auditions, of course, they take you for a boot camp. I went for a boot camp.
Oh.
Where you have a life coach, you have a stylist, you have people training you how to be a queen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there are also
Nice.
lifelong skills. How to dress a plus-size body, makeup, personal health. I mean, it was a thorough boot camp, well thought of, very detailed. During the boot camp, of course, we were with the other 29 contestants. It was a life-changing experience. You get to hear everybody's stories, beautiful women, each with an experience, some good, some bad. It was, like I said, it was a very holistic journey through the boot camp, teaching you how to walk. Personally, I had an accident about a year ago. I broke my ankle, so I never thought I would walk a runway before.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so they teach you how to walk, how to talk, how to everything, literally. So apart from that also, there's the backstage, like you said.
Yeah,
before they
before they strut. Because you know,
the
have you ever
makeup,
seen
the
that
prayers,
the
the
makeup, the
tears.
what? I don't know. Then people strut out
Anxiety.
there. Oh, I see. There's a lot of
Fear.
anxiety
Oh,
and
yes,
fear.
because everyone is there to win the crown, you know?
Okay.
And you're hoping for the best. So there's anxiety, there's fear, there's tears, there's joy. You create bonds and relationships. I mean, it's quite something.
Okay.
It's quite something.
How long did the whole journey,
From the auditions
From the
to the
audition?
time, I would say about 4 months.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a long
About
time.
4 months.
Okay.
It's a long time of preparation and having to come up with outfits. You have to be very creative, having to come up with about 6 outfits. In total, it was also an expense, It's something that I would definitely encourage someone to do. It tests you as a person in different levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking back now, this Judy and the Judy from primary school who drew the painting and the look of disappointment on the client's face, what would you tell the Judy of that time?
Wow. I'd tell her first, you're beautiful. You are so beautiful, and you can do anything you set your mind to. You can do just about anything you set your mind to. That's what I'd tell her. Yeah.
I think for me, my other question is, when you think about beauty today, with what you know, what are some of the lies that we've been told about what it is to be beautiful?
Yeah. You don't have to be small to be beautiful. That is the first lie that I think I'd oppose. You don't have to be small to be beautiful. You don't have to be light-skinned to be beautiful. Yeah? And we are all unique in our own way. We are all beautiful in our own way. So no one should make you feel otherwise. No standards, no narratives, no nothing should make you feel otherwise. You are who you are. You are Pauline, you're special. You're unique. There's no other Pauline like you. There's no other Judy like me. So while I'm trying to be like Beyonce or I'm trying to be like Rihanna I can't, because I'm just Judy. That's just the truth. And I'm unique and beautiful just the way I am, because God created me in his own image.
And when you think about beauty today and when you look at girls walking around, and you look at what's going on, especially in the beauty industry, what would you tell people about what's happening? Like, sometimes I look around and I just wonder, so much time, so much effort, so many wigs, so much makeup, so many things women can't afford to be doing but are doing to be beautiful. Is it because we've sold a concept of beauty that's not achievable? An airbrushed image of a woman that we can never really achieve, and we don't tell people the truth. What is your take on that?
Social media first. I blame social media highly on that, because what is posted on social media is basically a wannabe kind of life for most people. I will not say all, but for most people. And so when we go through our Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat and we see these people, we admire the kind of life that they're living. And we want to be just like them. The truth is, that's not the life that they're actually living. And actually, through this journey of Miss Kenya Plus World, I got to know that very, very well. There are things that I experienced that shocked me. People that I see on Instagram, and when you actually meet them, they're not what they say they are. So to me, I would encourage young people, especially girls, to stay true to themselves. You don't have to wear wigs and put on makeup to feel beautiful. Stay true to who you are.
Okay.
If you want to stay natural, fine. If you want to put on a bit of makeup, that's fine. But don't break your back or your bank
Yes.
trying to be or trying to live someone else's life. It's quite unfortunate, actually. And I wish people would genuinely speak about these things. These influencers and all these people on social media, I wish they would come out clearly and tell people, listen, and show them the true selves, because they have followers, people who are looking up to them, and what they are portraying is what their followers are portraying. So even though I can't afford to live that life, I will try, steal, sponsors, name it, to try and live that kind of
But
life.
it's also very difficult. Let me explain. The goalposts are always moving, isn't it? Today, it's, I don't know, today it's this week, tomorrow it's, you can never, it's like a mirage. Every time you just get there, something new. Isn't it just that it's a big industry, billions of dollars, and the one thing that the industry goes out is to make you feel not beautiful, so they can sell you something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's my opinion. I don't know what goes on, as I said, I don't know what goes on at the back when people, I'm not sure what happens. But isn't it true that at the end of the day, it's about money, a lot of money. It's about money.
It's all about money.
Okay.
They're trying to sell their products.
People are pushing products.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Pushing their product, it's all about money. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them. Yeah.
What a wonderful sharing from Judy. What an amazing, honest, candid journey. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. We'll be talking to Ndenya Masharia. She's an image consultant. We want to go a bit deeper. We want to ask a few more questions about this whole beauty thing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dada's. Today we're talking about beauty. Are you beautiful? Will you ever be beautiful? What does it take to be beautiful? Welcome, Ndenya, image consultant par excellence. Thank you for bringing color. You have added even more color to this set.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here, Pauline.
Oh, thank you.
I have watched your show and I'm so excited to finally be here.
Oh,
and yeah, thank you.
She's so fine, isn't she? I know. Ndenya, you know you represent the girls we love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
Rangi ya Thao, figure 8. The people who, the boys lined up,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, on your side of the world,
Mm-hmm.
you beautiful girls, do you ever have any troubles? Do you have any problems?
And I think I want to take us back a little and say that, one, every person is beautiful. That's, again, the cliche.
Mm-hmm.
But as a man thinketh, so is he. In this case, as a woman thinketh, so is she. I believe that the world has set up for us a standard of what beauty is. Back in the day, you guys were talking about your generation to say how old we are. Back in the day, it was through magazines and television where we would watch the commercials, see the hair, and think, when I grow up, that is what I want to be. And so the world has set up pictures of what beauty and what a good-looking person should look like. And earlier I had you speak about this based on commercial purposes. Now, the lie was sold to us because we were willing to listen to the lie. And my encouragement usually to women, because every woman goes through the, I don't like this, I don't like that, I wish I could change this, I wish I could change that, no matter what they look like. They may be as skinny as a doll or as, in this case we're using the word plus size, which I think is not a word we should use.
What should we call?
Wait, let me finish my train of thought
Okay.
first. So I think that when the lie was told, we took it hook, line, and sinkered and began to think that those were the standards for beauty. Yet I think there is another standard, and I like to use God's word being the standard, that each of us was created in the image and in the likeness of God. Beautiful. Like, God created us the best he knew how to, each and every one of us. And so the minute you begin to surround yourself with the truth of that standard, then the other standards begin to not look so appealing. And so that's the thing, that the TV, and now social media has shown us this is what it looks like to be hot. This is what you need to look the part. Yet there is another standard. And my encouragement to every woman listening, watching, is that you are created in the image and in the likeness of God. You are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're gorgeous. When he looked in God's creation, when he looked, he said, it is good. He didn't look and think, oh my God, I think I made a mistake. This is an accident. No. And so once we set that as our backdrop, then we then enter into the physical body that we live in, and each one of us has a different physical body that we came with, which is the creativeness of God. Now, no two of us look the same. When it comes to the continent of Africa, the rest of the world sized their people. So if you're wearing a pair of shoes size 5 in the UK, it will be a size 38 in another country, it will be a size 7 in another country. They sized their people. But when we came to Africa, we allowed other sizing to influence who we are. And I'll tell you for free, the average African woman is a size 16.
They lied to us.
They cheated us.
What?
They cheated us.
The average size African woman is the Muzungu size 16.
Is the Muzungu size 16. And so if we were to size, then my lovely sister here would not be plus size.
No.
She would be the average size. But because we've allowed ourselves to listen to the lies over and over again, they have defined who we are.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt you.
You can jump in.
You know, I know you're going to stop me.
You can jump in at this point. You can jump in at this point.
I think I wanted to ask you, these people haven't sized their people. They don't make their own products. So let them buy from us. You understand?
That's exactly where the world is. That the world, whether it's Turkey, China, whoever it is, went industrial, which is a big part of our big agenda, to go that way, where we manufacture our own things. Right now, we have the privilege of a tailor. We walk into a store and the woman is like, kuja nikupime, she'll be mommy, and she'll make me an outfit that is exactly perfect for me. But if I try to buy an outfit from Turkey, I'll go, the skirt fits, the top doesn't, or the top fits and the button is opening somehow, because it wasn't designed or made specifically for me or with me in mind. That's where we begin to have the challenges. The difference between men and women, when the man walks into the store, tries a shirt and it doesn't fit, he's like, there's something wrong with this shirt. You walk into a store and the shirt doesn't fit you, you're like, there's something wrong with me. I need to go and work out. I need to go and eat diet and whatever. And yet all that is commercial. It's set up to make you feel inadequate about who you are and begin to purchase the products and the things. And so for me, I'm at the space of we must have a new narrative and a mind shift.
Yeah.
That we are beautiful. This is the standard of beauty. Take a look. This is what it looks like. And so whether you are smaller than the average person or whether you're not as small, then it's okay. That's how God designed you, and you are designed to perform a particular function or to bring purpose to the world.
Let me ask Judy a question. Judy, where do you get your clothes? And it's okay to say it's Mutumba, a combination of your tailor. It's okay. You know why I'm asking this question? Because that's a challenge, isn't it? That we don't have enough clothes for bigger people because they are not made for us. Yeah. So how do you put your outfits together?
Fashion has been quite stressful for me, I must say. I do a lot of Mtumba, a lot. I go to Toy Market, I go to Gikomba, I go to, thrift shops to get my clothes. Hardly will I buy anything new here in Kenya. But in recent days, shops have started embracing the plus size woman. So I've gone to a couple of them, and I found they actually have pants that fit me, they have tops that fit me, or coats that fit me. Now, another thing, I won't mention the shop. I used to go to this particular shop and I'd wear something and it fits me. But then when I look at the label, it's maternity.
Yes, I know.
To date, they still have that. So anything that fits me is maternity. But I'll still take it because it looks trendy and I'll play around with it and it will still look
nice. But the challenge will always be that you can't get a top and you need together. You get.
That's where the challenge is.
Yeah.
And the challenge is that we as Africans and women in the continent need to begin to produce.
our own things, isn't it?
And for us,
Yes.
for us by us.
Yeah.
Why? Because we understand ourselves, which is why when you go, some tailors are wonderful. You go and they get you, and you know that this person understands how to get this body to, for it to work. I tell people, even when it comes to, say, we're talking about clothes, jeans, you think I'm small, I'll try some pair of jeans, but they are not made for my behind. And so they will still have the this, that, or the other. And only until recently have the Africans begun to be considered. Recently, one of the beauty products was launched with 40 shades, and they were all thinking about us. Because for a long time, they never thought that we were a market to be considered. But we are rising, and it is our season. And it's our season for us to say, you know what? I can't find things that are trendy in my style, but I can create the trend. I can be the trend. I can be the person who sets the standard for what people value and what people want. One of the things I do like about social media, despite the things that the negative aspects of it, is that every one of us has a voice. And we can begin to share our story. We can begin to bring out our truth, and we can begin to even put out what is wonderful about us. I think the West Africans have picked that up. You'll see the Nigerians, they are loud and they are unashamed about it. If anything, you won't see them in the conventional, what everybody is wearing. They've come up with their own brands, their own things. And I think the challenge is on us to begin to see ourselves as contributors to the world and to what the world desires and what the world is looking for. And you'll be surprised what the business opportunities are there. And then something else she had said earlier, if you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, then it's easy to do many other things. Now, one of the things I find with not just plus size people, but people who have insecurities about how they feel, they usually will tend to then be drab. And say, oh, the world hates me. Oh,
People don't like me.
People don't like me.
I'm not promoted because
people
don't like me.
sweatpants. Their hair will be in matutas and stuff like that. And yet, when we come to now statistics, in Image we say that people make a judgment about you 55% based on how you look.
Wow.
For those of us who are children of faith, we say God looks at the heart. But you're dealing with man every single day, and he's looking at your outward appearance. He's looking at how you look. And so you must be able to dress the body you've been given in a way that is visually appealing to people. Because people will not pay attention to you because, oh, you have issues, or you think you have rights because you're whatever. No, people will look. And when we talk about beauty, the definition is what is aesthetically appealing. That people will be drawn to things that are beautiful. You come into this space, we love these. They're beautiful. I would want some of these in my house. Now, if they were ugly, dry, droopy, tired, half of us would, not even half of us, none of us wants that. So people want things that look visually appealing because we're using our senses to interpret what kind of person you are. And so before I know that you're a really nice person and that you have a lot to give to the world, I'm going to make a judgment based on your outward appearance. And I'll determine whether I want to do business with you, whether I want to work with you or not. And so I do know people who are really skinny and have done really well, and others who haven't. I know people who are mandazi yellow and who have done really well, and others who haven't. Why? Because some of them have taken their life seriously and decided, you know what? I will always look the part. I will always present myself in the way that I want people to perceive me. We say that you are addressed the way you are dressed. And that's whether size or not. You walk up to the gate, you look wonderful. The man will be like, who are you coming to see? Welcome. You come, you look like you're high or a madman. People will be like, hey, okay, this is not where you are coming. Maybe try the next gate. And so it does work whichever side of the scale that you fall.
I like that you've gone into image because that's an important part. I wanted you to perhaps discuss, and this is for women. I think today we are bordering a bit on vulgarity, and I don't want to. And we've talked with you about this, and you keep telling me it's not the fault of the women. The clothes are too tight because the fabrics. We buy a lot of the things, even secondhand, from another country. So some of the clothes are too short, some of them are too tight, some of them the fabric is not for us. And sometimes, when we wear these things and we walk around with them, some of them lift up, and there's drama. There's just drama. How can a woman just be attractive? How can you be attractive. Both of you look lovely, but I cannot see any body parts. Nothing is hanging out.
So back to, this is where the picture of what beauty is has been perpetuated over and over again, whether it's through the music videos, whether it's through social media and things like that. In other societies, they have different seasons. And so, for example, we're coming into summer. In summer, it's extremely hot, and because the people have been very liberal, they're allowed to show many different parts. For us, we haven't yet, like I said, set what our standards are for that beauty. And so, yes, the things will come in a bale. They were for last year summer. We're going to pick them because that's what we have available. And so the challenge again to create. But beyond creating, I think it's important for women to understand that when you are dressing, you should dress for yourself. A lot of times we dress so that she can think I'm cute, or so that the dude can think that I am hot, to attract the opposite sex, to get some ratings, some likes and thumbs up. That's the reason we are doing it. But I think when every individual understands why they are here, what their purpose is, then they can begin to express themselves in that way. We say that the outward appearance, what we're wearing, is an expression of what's going on inside. And so you'll find a lot of people are broken, they have issues, whether it's from their past or from their current environment, that will cause them to be what we see on the outside. But I do know that when women know better, they do better. And so when we begin to say that it's okay to not, and actually the rules are, if you're going to show cleavage, you shouldn't show the bottom. If you're going to have a shorter dress, then the top should be covered. There are certain rules that govern how we should operate. And then when it comes to finding clothing that works for you, I think you in most our minds we know. We'll always ask, is it tight? Or is it too short? If you're asking, you already know what the answer to your question is. And so we are our best judges. Half the time we go with our girlfriends, and she'll be like, oh, that's so cute, because she would wear that, and not necessarily because it's what's appropriate for me. And so as you go out to look for the garments that represent you, the first question is, who am I, and what message do I want to share with the world?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to share that I'm selling the hustle, then I'll dress like the hustle. But if I want to tell people that I'm intelligent, I'm smart, and see me for more than just what I'm wearing, then you dress like that.
Okay. Wow, okay. Judy, you're a teacher. Do you ever have this discussion in any way with your students? The little are you even able to do that, or do you ever talk about it even?
I'm a pre-prep teacher. I deal with the younger ones who would probably not understand very much about what to wear and what not to wear per se, but I see from them, they appreciate when I'm dressed really well. Yeah. And they also tell me when it's a bit off. Like, Miss Judy, your dress is short, you know, or you look very beautiful today, or Miss Judy, I can see your, you know, your cleavage, or, I mean, but it's not a discussion that I have with the younger ones, but the older ones, when we do get to meet, yes, it's a discussion that we have. Okay. We have a company known as Creative Art Hub, which basically promotes and nurtures creativity among children and the youth. Okay. So when we come together, apart from arts and talking about financial wellness, it's just teaching them how to feel comfortable in their own bodies, how to dress themselves, how to speak, how to carry themselves. So yes, this is a discussion that I have with the older kids out of school. Okay.
Yes. And I do want to challenge her to speak to the younger ones. I tell people when children are born, they come blank. They are blank canvas. And we, whether parents, teachers, guardians, or people in their lives, condition them. And so, for example, when I had Judy speak in the beginning, she was conditioned that she was not small. That was the conditioning. And so it became what she knew, and it became what was embedded in her being. And so when children are young, the conditioning that we should give them as children, as parents, as teachers, is that they are beautiful. That we begin to appreciate them the same way they're telling you you look really good today. Yes, they're in uniform, but it's wonderful to celebrate the attributes that they have, whether we think that they are visually appealing or not. Tell them that we think that they are strong, that they are creative, that they are beautiful. Tell them that their hair is gorgeous, their nails are wonderful, that their arms are. Once we begin to put that information in them, you'll be surprised the level of confidence that the children gain. I have a son, he's 3, and every day I tell him, "You are so clever. Isaac, you are so handsome. You are actually, you're a cute boy." And when we go out, people will repeat to him what I have already told to him, because he's already, that is already coming out of him. We are the authority over the children, and we must speak what we want to see in them.
During the first years of their life, those are the sensitive years. The formative years are the most important years of a child's life. And if you don't mold them at that age, then you've lost them, literally. Even the Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 6, "Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it."
Do you ever note like a kid who's down, a chubby kid who's, sometimes you see the signs, a chubby kid who doesn't play sports because he's left out, a kid who's maybe, their family is going through some trouble, so they sit in a corner and they're broody. Do you ever see those kinds of things? I don't know.
All day, every day. And especially in recent times, I don't know what is happening, either with the parenting skills, or I don't know what is happening in our society. But it happens a lot. You can tell a child who is sad, a child who's probably going through something at home, either through their performance, from even eating, from the way they're socializing. You can easily tell. And so what you try to do is just make them feel safe in the school environment. But I also feel like parents have a very big part to play. I mean, it's a triangle.
In this conversation,
the teacher can only do so much. I spend a lot of time with your child, yes, but as a parent, you have a part to play. And this is a discussion that people need to really bring up. As much as concentration on children, someone else should also talk to the parents and try and see if we can bring the morals back. And how we bring up our
and the
children.
confidence.
And the confidence. And because it does damage their children. It does.
It does. And especially the fathers. I'll speak to the fathers. Fathers must speak into especially their girl, the girl child. Like the place of a father telling a girl that she is beautiful and consistently giving her the right information about who she is will then later on in life reduce the cases of girls looking for men to validate them and tell them that they are worth it or that they are good for something. Because a lot of people grew up where their fathers told them they were good for nothing and they were going to amount to nothing, and also said negative and nasty things to their children. And those are words spoken of their children that are not easy to shake off. And I think part of the conversation even here is that we as women, some of us may need to even go back to our fathers and forgive them for the things that they said to us, things that they spoke over us that were not positive, that caused us to have low self-esteem and choose other options for what we, to validate us and make us feel special. So
Then I know you're working on something, which is a conversation about image in Africa.
Yes.
And I think this is because I've known you for a while.
Yes.
This quote is a statement of faith concerning the things you're about to do.
It is,
Tell us a bit about that, because I
think
we do need to talk about that. We need to come out from this level and now begin to talk policy level and what can be done at that level.
And so I'll tell you this, that I studied image in South Africa, and I also was part of the international conversation around image. And what I discovered was that all the women, they would say that they're an international organization, but they didn't factor Africa because we were end of the food chain somewhere at the back. And so when I got back home, one of the conversations I began to have with myself and the people around me, as you know, is about African cultural etiquette and about African beauty. Being at the forefront of saying that there is a way that we do our things. There's a way, like I said before, the average woman is a size 16 and it's okay. And it's okay for us to go up to a size 24. And when we resize, the size 16 will be a size 1. And we'll be going in the negative. Why? Because we can. And we begin to have this conversation because we identify more with the women in Ghana and the women in Burundi than we do with the women in the Scandinavian countries who only eat leaves. Our body makeup and the way we were created by God has a certain way that it is, whether it's our environment, our food, also to handle the challenges and the things that we are doing, from carrying heavy pots and things on our back. We have to be built a certain way.
I know.
And so because we are built that way, we can have our own style. We can have our own, whether it's makeup. We also can have our own hair conversation. And I know a lot of us are moving into we love our hair. Again, for commercial reasons, they told us that the Wella hair that reaches right over here is the perfect hair. However, we are beginning to say that no matter how I wear my hair, I am beautiful. So if I choose to wear it like you have, short and with color, good on me. If I choose to wear the big wig, that's good. But each woman knowing that with or with, I'm not my hair.
Great.
With or without my hair, without the wig or with it, it doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't say that I can do or not do the things that I've set out to do. So that's the big conversation, that we begin to then give each other the motisha and the energy that we are beautiful, and we are beginning to give this conversation to the world. That when you come to Africa, this is who we are. That we have moved away from the blue suit, the white shirt, and the heels. We can wear that at the boardroom for the corporate meeting, because the people who are there, that's what they expect. However, if you see me on another day, I will wear what I feel is wonderful. Say the African prints, which I feel like the other people take them, turn them around, sell them for $1 million bucks, and then we begin to think that those things are wonderful. So we are at the forefront of saying, Africa has a story, we have a narrative, we have our own sense of everything, style, beauty, the way we eat, and how we feel. Vile tunai feel.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this conversation because, and I think because I'm growing older, every time I go through this conversation, I think, why didn't I hear these things when I was younger? I don't know if you ever get that feeling. Why didn't I hear this conversation when I was younger? I would have saved myself so much pain. Now, ladies, I have been warned and warned that we have run over time. I will invite you guys again.
Thank you.
Especially you, Ndenya. This beauty story, we've barely touched the, we really do need to continue this beauty conversation and really unpack it.
And I think take it to, and yes, we are closing, take it to further levels. One of the things I didn't mention, when she was talking about the Miss World beauty pageant, I had the privilege of going around the country in search of a Miss World at a certain time in my life. And as you go around the country, there were all these beautiful women who didn't conform to the standards that the world had already set for us. And I began to tell myself that we could start a different conversation and do things a different way. Because the rest of the world is going through surgery. They're doing Botox, they're doing all manner of things, and then they go to those competitions and they win. While for us, we were just trying to be authentic. And so beginning to just be authentic about who we are and saying the world better recognize that this is who we are and this is what we are bringing to the table, and it's a good thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. We've run out of time. This beauty conversation for me is something I'd like to talk about again. So you will be hearing from us about this beauty thing, because I think we're spending way too much time, way too much money doing the wrong things. We need to be telling people we are beautiful, we are African. So until next week, have a great week. Be stylish, be good, love yourself, walk around with a smile on your face, be confident. Baraka.